So, if you haven't been living under a rock the past few days, you know that hashtag Save Reddit Online has been trending on pretty much any platform that has anything remotely to do with gaming. And it's been putting a lot of pressure on Rockstar now to give us exactly what we've been begging for. So, I've put together a list of some things, in my opinion, that Rockstar needs to address and take care of to make the game more enjoyable for everybody and to make sure that it actually doesn't just die out and it has a future. So, number one, of course, this is kind of a no-brainer, add properties. This is something the entire community has been asking for since literally day one. It's amazing to think that we haven't gotten anything like this so far. I mean, what are we, 3.5 years into the game's life cycle? I mean, we have the Moonshine Shacks, but those are like only partially customizable, and you literally only use them to make a few $100s and drink some moonshine, play some instruments with your friends. What we want is ranches, we want land, we want riverboats. It's not like it's a tremendous amount of work either. The riverboat is literally completely textured in story mode. Just add a bar, a band, a few extra rooms, and canoes, and we'd be happy. Fortunately, they were probably planning on going through with the property, the houses thing from the start, considering there's a Wheeler and Rawson catalog specifically for houses in story mode when you play as John. But yeah, there's really no excuse for why it hasn't been in the game so far. Up next is exploits. Rockstar has a pretty bad track record of dealing with exploits and glitches, especially in Red Dead. For those of you who played about a year and a half to 2 years ago, you would probably remember the wagon rotations glitch, where every few minutes you could be making, or you could be making your posse $500 for each member, and you could do it as many times as you wanted without basically any delay, probably a 2 minute delay, which is nothing when you're making $500. But the biggest exploit I want to talk about is, of course, the off radar glitch. Now, even if you're a new player who's only been in like a handful of fights, you've probably run into another crew using the off radar glitch. And as you can see here, it doesn't let you lock onto them, and they don't even appear on the map. However, they can play the game normally as long as they don't go into their catalog or enter a store. I think that's how it works. You would think that this would be at the top of Rockstar's list of things to do, especially since it can ruin a newer player's experience, doesn't make them come back and Rockstar loses money. And unfortunately, it can even ruin the experience of a seasoned player, a level 300 plus, who plays honestly because they probably know that Rockstar doesn't care enough to do anything about it and probably just thinks, oh, I'll leave it till next week. But yeah, it's a pretty big issue that needs to be addressed. Number three, pretty big one here. Fix our weekly update system. It's kind of obvious weekly updates suck, let's be honest. I guess Rockstar thinks our heads just pop off the pillow every Tuesday morning where there's an update, and we think, oh boy, I hope I get 30% off of a revolver today, or better yet, discounts on winter outfits after they took away all the snow from the rest of the map. In my opinion, a possible fix would be to add like weekly challenges on top of discounts. That way you get rewarded for like actually playing the game instead of getting, let's be honest, pretty much worthless savings. Like imagine if you had to complete an entire match, all 10 rounds of Call to Arms, it's doable. The average person can probably do it, but it's not exactly the easiest thing. It's time consuming. You actually have to sort of grind for it. But like at the end of it, you get paid with an extra gold bar or a free ability card upgrade. I'm just spitballing here, but you get the point. There's some stuff that they could add just to make it so that it's not this loathsome, you know, dragging concrete with your feet system. Next, Rockstar needs to address the obvious griefer bias. Red Dead has had better griefer control than GTA since day one. I mean, the passive system in GTA is a joke, but the parlay system in Red Dead's pretty good. Someone kills you, you don't want to deal with it. You just parlay, I think it's 15 minutes where, they can't attack you, you can't attack them, but you can still interact with the rest of the world. But griefers right now, they have sort of a big foothold in the game. I get killed a lot, especially in combination with the off-radar glitch. I mean, yes, high hostility lets you see people from farther away in the big map, but it doesn't really do anything to stop a griefer from killing you. I mean, a griefer gets high hostility, they do some grinding, they lose their hostility, then immediately start griefing again. I think a good idea would be to add a feature where people with extremely high hostility aren't able to lock on or even shoot other players till their hostility goes down. And if you think that's annoying and that you should be able to just kill anybody for any reason, then good. That's one less griefer playing the game, and I think everyone would be happy. So the last thing on my list that Rockstar could do to make the game better, more polished, is to just make the game more dynamic. Like, you know how story mode, there was camps that had bales of hay you could feed horses with, and you could go chop wood and move water buckets to raise your honor. Why can't we do that in online? Like, I know it's not going to affect gameplay all that much, but it's just about being dynamic. It would be so cool to have. Like, there's literally only one place in online to split wood, right beside this house here, and you probably didn't even know you could do that. Like, even when you can do stuff like that in online, the game is just so straightforward that you don't even know it's there. In story mode, you can go inside the banks sometimes, so why can't we go inside the banks online to convert money to gold or buy special items, something like that? I mean, you can actually walk inside of the Saint Denis Theater, but the actual theater doors are locked. Like, forget shows and performances by NPCs. Can you imagine if you could get large player groups to go in all at once and sit down for, custom performances and whatnot? Another way that they could make the game more dynamic is to fix the weather. I've always complained about this one to my friends because I live where there's a lot of snow, and it just really irritates me when I see that in Coulter it'll be minus 10 Celsius and it's just raining sideways. That's just basically impossible. And it doesn't even seem like it's that hard of a fix because snow already exists in the game in story mode. At the beginning of the game, it's snowing for the first few minutes, well, first few hours of gameplay, I would say. So why can't we just convert that over to online? It doesn't seem like it would be that big of a task. On the topic of weather, why don't we have dust storms in New Austin? Like, it would be so cool if there was these big orange dust storms that limit visibility and they make your horse slow down, and maybe it would do something to your health core if your character doesn't have a mask on. I mean, if you do one of the legendary animal missions for Harriet, like I think it's a black ram, there's an actual dust storm sometimes. I don't know if it happens every time, but the game already has dust storms in it. So why can't we just limit that to New Austin, maybe once every few like real life days, maybe 2 or 3 times a week for half an hour, you get to ride through the dust storm. It would just be so cool. That pretty much does it for the video today. I know there's definitely stuff that I missed, but I thought these were some of the biggest things that Rockstar needs to address, maybe they need to work on. If you guys can think of anything else, leave it in the comments below, and I might include it in my next video next week, because I plan on doing a nitpicking video, stuff like posse size and whatnot. But I think that's it for now. Peace.